Hello everyone, uh, welcome to StudyIQ IS English channel. My name is Shubham Sagar and today we'll do Hindu analysis of 4th July 2025. And yep, so good morning Abhay, Shaida, Madhvi, Mamta, Rishi and all the other people. So let's not waste time and start the discussion. We'll also talk about the BRICS debate which we had yesterday. Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, what is this conundrum all about? Whether Saudi Arabia has joined or not, Indonesia is part of it or not. So again, there are means if you go to different sources, they all are saying some different stuff. So what is the middle path, Ashtangika Marg, as stated in Buddhism, we have to adopt when it comes to BRICS and its member countries, especially the conundrum associated with Indonesia and Saudi Arabia. We'll talk about it. Good morning, Madhu. In our time, there used to be an actress, her name was Madhu. She was with Ajay Devgan, Fool or Kante. Anuj, Satyajit, good morning everyone. So fun study with Chup. I have seen this particular doubt multiple number of times. Where is the PDF uploaded? PDF uploaded. So this is the Telegram channel, sir and ma'am, fun study with Chup. You can join this particular Telegram channel by 12 noon today. You will get this particular PDF of this particular Hindu, even like by 11:30. Why 12? So let's start with the first article of the day, which is on page number 11. Opinion, is US imperialism a threat to the world? And this opinion has been written by, again, if I'm audible, visible, everything is fine. Again, if there are any issues related to audio video, you can post it in the comment section. So two big people from, like, when you're talking about geopolitics, so to say. Prakash Karat, if I'm not wrong, he's the husband of, like, he's awesome in, like, oh my god, I don't want to say anything, otherwise you will label me as communist or this and that, but this here is the husband of Vinda Karada, if I'm not wrong. If I'm wrong, do correct me in the comment section. Happy Mon Jacob. You may have heard about these people a lot when you're reading Hindu. So these two people, they have written this particular opinion where they're talking about, we are again moving towards the Cold War era. In Cold War period, or during the Cold War period, what used to happen? Good morning, Shriparna. Good morning, Satyajit. I think we have done good morning with Satyajit. So in Cold War period, what used to happen between USA and USSR? Like there were two major groups, USA and USSR, capitalist and communist bloc. So these two people, Karat sir and Happymon Jacob sir, they are saying that world is moving towards again that particular period. The only difference is USSR has been replaced by China now. And this whole bilateral stuff where, bipolar world, so to say, bipolar world is a correct word, is not good for India. Then there will be a particular word which will be introduced in this particular opinion page, that is minilateralism. What is minilateralism? Everything is fine regarding audio and video. Number one. Good morning, Amal. Good morning, Kirtana. So let's have a look at this article. We will have a we'll have a look at different specific terms as well. So US military actions and imperialism, they struck Iran. Again, they have done all these things. Many people say, like, rogue nation, bad nation, Arab nations are not bad. The biggest, baddie of them all is US. They keep on doing these unilateral stuff. Nobody is controlling them. So is US imperialism a global threat? When you will go to the conclusion of this particular opinion, you will realize that both Karat sir and Happymon Jacob, they both are converging on this particular fact. But from India's perspective, what is important here? The different terms, like from India's perspective, from UPSC perspective. So Trump's America First policy, again you can see here, reflects an effort to restore US dominance amidst declining hegemony. So again, he's trying to say that slowly and gradually China is coming up the ladder. US, is so much like not only US, many countries of the world, most of the countries of the world are dependent on China when it comes to manufacturing items, and there is a certain amount of decline in US hegemony. They withdrew from Afghanistan graveyard of empire. So Trump is trying to restore the old glory. As we keep on saying, achhe din aayenge, the old days, good days will be, or good days will be back. So that is what Trump is saying in US. US is behaving as a typical hegemon. Happymon Jacob sir is agreeing with Karat sir. Again, what these two people are saying, that doesn't matter. The point is, we have to find the crux here. China as a strategic rival. China's rise, as you can see here, is seen as a threat by US. A structural decline. You can see here, Happymon Jacob sir is also saying that China as a center has created a new Cold War dynamic. That is what we are discussing. We are slowly and gradually, as they keep on saying in history repeats itself. How Amal and Rishi both are on number 3. Oh my God, Mamta. This is the biggest issue of the day. Shashmita Dwivedi. Good morning, Shashmita. So again, you can understand, we are going back to Cold War era. History is repeating itself. Oh my God, it's happening. So bipolar versus multipolar world. These two authors, they are arguing on the fact that bipolar world is not going to help any of us. We want a multipolar world. In that particular multipolar world also, India is benefiting from something known as minilateralism. What is minilateralism? This is again an interesting word which we should know. What is minilateralism? So minilateralism means a group of countries, like small number of countries, like starting from 3 going up until 10, but even 10 is too much. Like in minilateralism, you can talk about Quad. We have talked about Quad in the previous Hindu analysis. Today, oh my God, there are so many like awesome articles we'll talk about. We'll go to, CAPF versus IPS. Today's Hindu is awesome. Not that much yesterday. Yesterday, that there were too many technical articles, but today Hindu is awesome. That happens. They also go through crest and troughs. So minilateralism, Quad is one example of minilateralism. AUKUS is another example of minilateralism. Quad, what was the mnemonic? Jai ho, no, Jai US. That is the mnemonic of Quad, which we have discussed earlier. Japan, Australia, India and USA. AUKUS, Australia, UK and United States. So these are some example of minilateralism which you have to understand. So again, these people are saying that India would benefit from multipolarity, but it is becoming more aligned with US. Now the question is, if Prakash Karat sir is saying that India is becoming more aligned with US, what is the point? Why we are becoming more aligned? Again, the reason is we are surrounded by, two nuclear possessing, or like you can understand why. Especially we need somebody who can, be our partner when it comes to countering China. And US is seen as one such formidable partner, but not during the era of Trump because he is, so transactional in nature. But again, we are siding with US, so to say, because we want somebody to counter China. And that is what Happy Jacob sir is also saying. India needs security partners due to its border challenges with China. Friendship with US, France and Russia are vital. How India is balancing ties with both US and Russia, that is actually very critical. US. Very good, Shayada. Very good, Shashmita. Mithun sir, good morning. So where are we? So again, let's focus here. There are again certain terms. This is interesting. This statement given by Prakash Karat sir is very interesting. Aligning too closely with US could make India vulnerable to being treated like a subordinate ally. This you can understand from relationship. When you become too involved in a relationship, the other person takes you for granted. So if we become too involved with US can take us for granted, So we have to be very mindful that we are not getting close. That's why they say, maintain equidistance from everyone. Which what happens in real life, that is applicable in international arena as well. Don't get too close, India, to US. And we are doing good in that regard. We are making Russia happy, we are making US happy, we are good in that regard. So that is totally fine. Now comes the points which we have to revise. Now, Happy Jacob sir is saying that BRICS is too diverse. Yesterday we talked about BRICS, 5 countries, then 5 more countries joined. Yesterday, I think there was a guy, his name was Anuj, I'm not sure. He said ICU is the mnemonic, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Ethiopia and UAE. But when you will research further, you will realize that Saudi Arabia has not yet joined. Indonesia has joined. So this is IIEEU. But again, there are confusion. Many people say that Saudi Arabia will also join. Then it will become 11 countries. Currently, BRICS is 10 countries. BRICS, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And then IIEEU. I love you na, like there is a song of Allu Arjun. So IIEEU. Iran, Indonesia, Egypt, Ethiopia and UAE. So remember this is important. I see you. Yeah. So, your first time, I want, you people are talking among yourself. Cool. So, BRICS is too diverse to be cohesive. Happy Jacob sir is saying that here the main rival of India, that is China, is also there. You have, it doesn't make any sense here. It's too diverse. And then now you have Iran, you have Indonesia, Egypt, Ethiopia, UAE. So here again, if you see Saudi Arabia, we are talking soon, they will also join. Indonesia, they played games with us during India-Pakistan war, I think around 1965. So, and they were a part of us when we were forming NAM, non-aligned movement. So it's very diverse. It cannot be a cohesive unit. And that's what we have discussed yesterday also when we were talking about BRICS. It's not a military alliance. It's a non-formal kind of an alliance. And they talk more about the economy part rather than polity and all those stuff, right? Yes, sir. Anush said, I see you. Very good, Shashmita. So, SCO is China-led Shanghai Cooperation Organization, whose headquarter, ironically, is not in Shanghai, but Beijing. Again, as the name suggests, China-led. And limited utility. India must prioritize national interests. So, here, as you can see, both like Happyman Jacob and Prakash Karat, sir, what they are saying. Yesterday also, when we were reading BRICS, we read about Global South. What is the basic meaning of Global South? Countries belonging to South America, Africa, Asia, less developed countries, least developed countries, or developing countries, and India should support them. That is what Prakash Karat sir is also saying. And again, keep a tab on the word. These things will help you in writing mains answer. You know, we cannot be too close to US. We have to maintain one hand distance with all these countries, and that is important because every country is important to us in one way or the other. Iran, Israel, we have discussed. Iran, economic ally. Israel, military or strategic ally. Even US, we need them because they are the hegemon. Russia, all-weather friend. So we have to maintain balance with all of them. Now again here see, global South nations will suffer most from Trump trade wars and tariffs, as PK is saying, that is Prakash Karat. And again, you can read all these things. With now, this is the word we have to focus on. Happyman Jacob sir is saying that with multilateralism failing, global South platforms and mini-lateral alternatives are essential to address global challenges. Collaborate. Again, there has to be a collaboration. That's what he is saying. Good morning, always happy. We all okay. So minilateralism, this is a new word. Very like you hear about bilateralism, multilateralism, all these things we hear about. Minilateralism, as we have discussed, group of countries starting from 3 going up until 10, but 10 is again too many. Generally they are 4, 3, 4, 5. That is minilateralism. We have discussed Quad, AUKUS, all these are example of minilateral forums. Conclusion, US imperialism, both are agreeing that yes, it is not good for us and we have to focus on minilateralism. And again, this too shall pass, as we keep on saying in different spheres of our life. This too shall pass. Trump is not going to be there all the time. So when Trump goes, somebody else come, the policies will also shift. So India's increasing alignment with US may hinder its autonomy and leadership in a multipolar world. So we have to be very mindful when it comes to keeping one hand distance with US. Otherwise, Russia will get angry, Iran will get angry. We cannot make so many of our, you know, they are good friends, especially Russia. So we have to have a look at that as well. How we are maintaining our ties with India, US, India, Russia, etc., etc. Strategy, clarity, you can read all these things. Now, let's solve question MCQ 1. Maintaining international relation is too tough. Exactly, Shashmita. Very tough. So which of the following best defines minilateralism in international relation? Global decision making through the UN and WTO, strategic cooperation among a small group of countries with shared interest, bilateral defense treaties between major powers, isolationist policies by large economies. So. Sriparna, Shashmita, Abhay, Anuj, Madhu, Rishi, Madhvi, Mamta, all of you have given the answer. The answer is strategic cooperation among a small group of countries with shared interest. Very good. MCQ 2. Which of the following statement regarding minilateralism is correct? Mamta, always happy. Shaida. It allows quicker decision making due to fewer members. It is an ideal replacement for all multilateral institutions. It is often issue specific and interest driven. Minilateralism. So. You people please write the question number which you are answering. So if we talk about minilateralism, it allows quicker decision making due to fewer members. Let's say you are confused in that. Keep it in the loop. If you are confused, don't just jump to answer. Keep it in the loop. It is an ideal replacement for all multilateral institutions. When we are talking about minilateralism, minilateral initiatives, Quad, AUKUS, have we said that it will replace every multilateral institution, WTO, WHO, everything? Have we ever said that? No. Then all. Extreme statement, eliminate second. If you eliminate second, what happens? B and D are gone. You are left with A and C. Check the third one. It is often issue specific and interest driven, obviously. General statement. So the answer is C, 1 and 3 only, as stated by Madhu. Madhvi tried it. Madhu, Shashmita, Shayada, Shriparna, Mamta, always happy. Amal, Rishi, all of you tried it. Very good. Now let's talk about, now please understand. You people keep on talking, means sending me queries here, there, everywhere. One particular query which I get a lot, again, which we have discussed earlier also, how much current affairs we should cover, which kind of current affairs we should cover. This news which you are seeing right now, page number 15, Chhattisgarh withdraws CFR management directive. This is not for the first time you're reading this. This is the third time I'm covering this article, like not exactly third time, second time I'm covering this specific article. Third time we are talking about issues related to FRA, Forest Rights Act, and then there is another scheme which was launched by government in 2024. So what has happened? For understanding this particular news, Chhattisgarh withdraws CFR management directive, we have to go to which, we'll talk about this. We have to do a recap. What is the recap? If you go to Hindu analysis of 26 June 2025, we have talked about this article which was there on that. Page number 4, Chhattisgarh seeks center aid as Forest Department stalls CFR management plan. So this is very important. This news is, repeating itself in different ways. More and more events are happening, and so you have to keep a track of it. Environment anyway is very important. So what was the news which we have discussed on 26 June? The news was in, like, when you are talking about tribal areas, forest dwelling regions, forest and forested communities. So there is a concept we have talked about. We keep on talking about all these things, that there are 3 land ownership concept: individual ownership, community ownership, and means royal ownership. Royal ownership, land belongs to the king. Individual ownership, land belongs to me. Community ownership, land belongs to us as a whole. So tribal communities, OTFDs, other traditional forest dwellers, all these people who are living in these areas, many of these tribal communities, they still have this community ownership concept. So now what has happened? They have demanded that this land belongs to us, give it to us. So from whom they are demanding? They are demanding it to Gram Sabha. They are writing to Gram Sabha. They have their grievances that this is our land. It has been taken away by government. Give it back to us. So there are so many grievances which are there with Gram Sabha. And Gram Sabha, in turn, what they are doing? They have created this community forest resource management, under which they are trying to see which of these grievances are actually valid, and they will be, giving back that land to a community or individual OTFDs, whatever be the scenario. So that was what was going on. NGOs were assigned by these Gram Sabhas, they were working. Then Chhattisgarh Forest Department, they stalled these NGOs. You cannot work on this community forest resource management plan. You cannot do the resource allocation forest, the land ownership allocation among tribal people, OTFDs. We will do it on our own based on central government directive. So all these things happened. That was what was the news on 26th June 2025. This was the news. Conflict in Chhattisgarh government. Chhattisgarh state government, they have allowed Gram Sabha to do this all resource allocation under CFR with the help of NGOs. But then Forest Department of Chhattisgarh, they stopped this. They were like, no, we will not allow it. That was the news which we have read on 26th January, June. Purpose of CFR plan, aim to let forest dwelling communities sustainably manage forest resource, supporting both livelihoods and conservation under the Forest Rights Act. Let's have a look at this and then we'll go back to the today's article. Interdepartmental tussle is going on. Local tribal community, we have even said that this is a tussle between state government and central government, and this was a very ironic scenario. Why? Because even in state, BJP is ruling, at the center also BJP is ruling. So BJP versus BJP is a very, again, not going into the political arena, but you can understand. There was another scenario when the same thing happened. Same political parties in state and center, even then they were having issues. When you have this NRC issue in Assam, then Assam, BJP unit, the political party unit, they were saying something else, and BJP at the center, they were saying something else. So this happens. This is not an abnormal scenario. Like, yes, this is a rare scenario, but it's not like it never happens. So all these things were going on. Forest Department prohibited any department or NGO from working in this community forest resource areas, and all these things were going on. And then now they have backtracked. The current news is the current development. Anybody, do you remember we doing this? Rishi, Amal, always happy, Mamta, Shriparna, Shayada, Shashmita, Madhu, Madhvi, and other people. So you can see this was the news. Now, back to the present, we'll go back to the present. Let's talk about the current news now. We have done the recap. You can go to Hindu Analysis 26 June 2025 to read about it more. And now let's talk about the news the current news. Chhattisgarh withdraws CFR management drive. This is not the exact heading. Ideally, Shashmita, Aval, Mamta, Kirtana, Madhu, yes. So Forest Department, they have withdrew. They were facing ire from local communities. So Chhattisgarh Forest Department, they have withdrawn a directive that no, like, earlier the directive was NGOs cannot be involved, this and that. They're like, no. The decision came in response to mounting protest against the directive. If you go back to 26 June, you will see that I have told you that this is an evolving development. We'll talk about it later on also. And we'll talk about it today. We have to talk about a particular scheme. Very important. Very good, Shaida. So again, original directives impact the directive had, which was issued around, which we talked about on 26 June, effectively barred other government departments, NGOs and private entities from engaging in activities related to community forest resource right. We have also discussed why NGOs and all these things government are so apprehensive about. Sometimes they get foreign funding. So there are allegations also which are levied on NGOs. Like today, Amnesty International is also in news. We'll talk about it. UPSC has already asked PYQ on it. So NGOs, foreign funding, maybe they will stall development and growth. So all these reasons why government generally don't like them. Not always. So perception of restriction. The department acknowledged that the directive was perceived by some as an attempt to restrict community rights, as we were discussing, community ownership, land, like ownership concept prevalent among tribal people. Again, under the now, this is the third time we are talking about Forest Rights Act in the last 20 days. Forest Rights Act, and then there is another act we'll talk about. There is a conundrum which is going on. We'll discuss that. So under Forest Rights Act 2006, CFRR grants means Gram Sabha the authority to manage. We have discussed this. You can read this. On May 15, the department had announced it would manage the community forest land until the central government issued a clear plan. Public backlash happened, blah, blah, blah. And now Forest Department has withdrew that directive. So now NGOs, Gram Sabha, they can play a proactive role when it comes to community resource allocation to tribal people, OTFDs, other traditional forest dweller. Do revise this 26 June, article, that this news will make more sense. Now let's come to the present. So back to the present. What is important? This particular scheme. Dharti Aba Janjatiya Gram Utkarsh Abhiyan. This is the third time in last 20 days we are reading about this particular scheme. That means this scheme is very important, oh my God, for 2026. So what is happening? There's also a tussle which is happening between Dharti Aba Janjatiya Gram Utkarsh Abhiyan. It is such a big name. I sometimes forget the whole name. DAJJUA. That's why, see, abbreviation. Why abbreviation was invented? To deal with these kind of schemes. DAJJUA versus FRA. What is this tussle? They can ask you in mains also. What is this tussle between DAJJUA versus FRA? So for understanding that, we have to understand this whole DAJJUA. So this particular scheme launched in October 2024. Let me give you a story. I think we have talked about it earlier. This will be a revision fast and forward. So what was the thing which we have discussed earlier? This particular scheme has been launched. This will be subsuming so many schemes which is going on between tribal people involving around 17 ministries. So it's not about only tribal affair ministry. So many other ministries are involved, bringing together multiple tribal related schemes. But there is a major purpose. The major purpose is FRA claims, Forest Rights Act claims. The claims which has been, like the forest dwellers, OTFDs, other traditional forest dwellers, they are demanding that this land belongs to us, give us that land. And there are so many claims which are still pending. Supreme Court has issued directive, clear those claims as soon as possible. So the justification given by central government why they have created this scheme is they want to help FRA. They want to help Gram Sabha to fast track all these claims which forest dwellers have and we can assign land to them, whatever community land they want to them in the fastest possible manner, if I can say that. So the key goal is fast track FRA claims and boost. Now the conundrum is, under FRA, under Forest Rights Act, Gram Sabha has been given this right to look into these FRA claims, what community land belongs to whom. Now, FRA cells have been created under DAJGUA, which will be looking into this claims. So, is it not violating or undermining Gram Sabha's right? Central government, they said that no. We are not undermining Gram Sabha's right. What we are trying to do is, we are trying to assist Gram Sabha. Sometimes we need help. Sometimes why do people marry? You have already discussed about this. Exactly, Rishi. Sometimes why we marry? We marry not because, we marry because sometimes we need companionship. They can share our problems and everything. We can share their problems and it will be a happy world. We can share our happiness. So here also what central government is saying, that we want to share Gram Sabha's sorrows and pendency. We want to help them. We want to assist them. We do not want to undermine them. So that is one point given by them. How true it is, we can talk about it later on. So implementation, FRA cells and benefit camp. So you can understand under this DAJGUA, and that's why I'm discussing it again, Rishi, because this is a tricky area. This is DAJGUA, but they have not established DAJGUA cells. They have established FRA cells, and that's why the confusion is there. And benefit camps, and you can understand why Gram Sabhas are not that happy with these FRA cells. Coverage, you can see how much coverage they have across 17-18 states. 8.67 lakh per district, district FRA cells. Then they have state FRA cells. Concern over centralization and overreach. That is the point. Gram Sabhas, when they are allocating these lands, this is promoting decentralization, right? At the bottom level. But now center has created this scheme. Center is making these cells. So there are allegations of centralization. Oh my God. Now let's solve some question. Very important article. This is continuously coming in some way or the other. You cannot miss it. Which of the following features are associated with, and this scheme also, Dharti Aba Janjatiya Gram Utkarsh Abhiyan? Yes, I have discussed this scheme again, and maybe in future, maybe after 1 month, if it comes again in some other form, we'll discuss it. That shows this particular scheme is very important. Oh my God. Chapandis. So DAJGUA, setting up of FRA cells for assisting Gram Sabhas, conduct of benefit saturation camps at village level, empowering the district collectors to bypass the FRA process for speeding implementation. So Lokesh, Amal, they have given the answer. Setting up of FRA cells for assisting Gram Sabha. This is what we have discussed. Major work of DAJGUA. So first is correct. Now, conduct of a benefit saturation camp at village level. Let's say you are confused about it. Keep it in the loop. We'll discuss this saturation camp. What is it? Empowering the district collector to bypass FRA process. Have we discussed this? This is a big point. If this would have been there in the scheme, we would have talked about it. That, we are empowering district. And again, why would we do that? We are saying that we are helping Gram Sabhas. Again, if you do this, you are again undermining Gram Sabha explicitly. So there is no provision related like this that we will empower district collector to bypass FRA process. DAJGUA, according to government, it will never bypass FRA process. It is just for assisting Gram Sabhas for speedy disposal of cases. So third is wrong. If you eliminate third, you are getting A, 1 and 2 as answer. So now the point here is, what is the meaning of the second line? Conduct of benefit saturation camp at the village level. Saturation means highest level of, when you say any particular thing is saturated, reached its maximum capacity. So we want to develop these, forest dwelling communities at the maximum capacity. That's why we have the saturation camps. These are fancy words. You can use it in exam. MCQ 4. FRA cells established under DAJGUA are primarily meant to. So yesterday I did a poll in my Telegram channel, Fun Study with You, regarding the time of Hindu analysis. Then I realized something. That time is fine. It matters. It should not be Hindu analysis. It should not be 3 hours long. But more than the time fact, the thing which actually matters is whether I am able to, make you understand stuff. Whether once you have done this thing from me, you're able to remember it or not. Whether I'm able to give you concepts in an easier manner or not. That matters. So more than the time. So yes, time factor is important, but not the most important fact. So FRA cells established under DAJGUA are primarily meant to monitor illegal encroachment, digitize land records. You always have to choose the best option. Assist Gram Sabha in filing and processing forest right claims. So who answered it? Amal, Lokesh, Anuj, Rishi, always Shaida. Yes, C is the answer. Assist Gram Sabha in filing and processing forest rights claim. So up until now, we have done 2 articles. Those were easy peasy. Now the 3 articles which we are going to do. Oh my God. Once, if you understood this, the basic purpose is to make you people understand these, you will love it. There is another, one article at the end, which is dealing with GS paper 3, internal security. paramilitary forces. That one single article will cover your whole, I will show you that article, will whole of these, in different security forces and their mandates, which is there in GS Mains Paper 3. Awesome article. There are so many good articles today from UPSC perspective. So let's talk about this article, third article of the day. Can the Supreme Court halt an act passed by a state? Now, this is also related to GS3 internal security. Here we will talk about Salva Judum. Here we will talk about a particular case. So GS2, Supreme Court judgments and all those things also comes into picture. At the same time, more important from GS3 internal security. Okay, before we read this, let me tell you the gist of this whole article. So this article is about, see, in Chhattisgarh, we know Chhattisgarh suffers from Naxalism, Maoism, whatever you want to call it. So to counter these Naxalists, what the state of Chhattisgarh did was they created some, and special police officer Salva Judum was created, and they were like, we'll talk about Salva Judum and all, and special police officer, they were created to fight against these Naxals. So around, I think 2011 only, Supreme Court said that no, these special police officer, you don't give them enough training and you are sending them to fight against these Naxalists. That goes against Article 14 and 21. Article 14, right to equality. Article 21, right to life and personal liberty. How come Article 14 and 21? Sir, you teach in a funny way. That's what helps in remembering. Your teaching is awesome. Thank you, Shashmita. So Article 14, right to equality. Naxal people and these special police officers whom Chhattisgarh government is assigning, like creating, and they have not been trained enough. So Naxal people and these people, they are not equal. Their training is not equal. They will easily be getting killed, bro. So you're just sending them on the battlefield without adequate training. Goes against right to equality. Again, right to equality means even in that regard, police services, they have proper trainings. These guys, special police officer, you have not trained them the same way you have trained the normal police officer. Goes against Article 14, right to equality. Article 21, right to life and personal liberty. These guys, when they will be getting killed without adequate training, obviously, right to life is gone, right? So because of this, Supreme Court said that these special police officers, Salva Judum, etc., just close it. We don't like it. We'll talk about what exactly is Salva Judum. Locals were given gun by Chhattisgarh government. Exactly. Then what Chhattisgarh government did was, they created something, and we'll talk about it. And they created something, and then there was a contempt case filed. Some people filed it that Chhattisgarh government is trying to bypass Supreme Court judgment, this particular judgment, Nandini Sundar judgment, by creating something else altogether. And that's why Supreme Court has said certain stuff, which has led to this particular issue. Can Supreme Court halt an act passed by a state? So now let's talk about this whole issue. There are so many keywords here. GS Mains Paper 3, internal security, Naxalism. GS Mains Paper 2, Supreme Court judgments. Equality before law, personal life and liberty. Rishi is on fire today. So yes, background, SC order of July 2011. So SC directed state of Chhattisgarh to stop using special police officers in anti-Maoist operations. They are not trained enough. They don't have adequate weapons and arsenals and knowledge as well. Recall of firearms. Ordered, I'll show you something. Before we talk about all these things, Yusu. Oh my, Yusu. Susu. So Salva Judum, this is Salva Judum. They will be fighting with this against the Naxalist forces. So this is one kind of SPOs. Not exactly SPO, but you can understand. Chhattisgarh government was supporting these people to fight against a Naxalist in this Bastar region. You can see here Chhattisgarh, Bastar region. Okay, let's focus now. So ban on Salva Judum and Koya commandos. Again, important from exam perspective, they can give you this. Koya tribe is prominent in which of the particular state of India? The answer will be Chhattisgarh. So Koya directed measures to prevent operation of groups like Salva Judum and Koya commandos. So Salva Judum was created in 2010s early, and they were the ones who were fighting against the Naxalists. Government were like, no, this goes against right to Article 14 and 21. They are not trained enough. They are not equal to other police officer. They will easily lose their life. So direction to Union government, Union of India told to stop funding recruitment of this SPOs, special police officers, for counter-insurgency purposes. The use of ill-trained, low-paid SPOs. Even this low-paid SPO thing can validate Article 14, right to equality. You are not paying them at par with other police officers. Doesn't make sense. You are not training them enough. So 14 and 21 violated. Remember these articles, very important from exam perspective. Oh my God. Salva Judum, Chhattisgarh, remember it. Koya now then let's try to understand this. So like Supreme Court banned Salva Judum And then what happened? Some of these people of Salwa Judum, they became a part of Koya Commandos. And many people say that even though Salwa Judum is not operative now, Koya Commandos in some way or the other is still operative to a certain extent. So let's see. I think it created a clash between judiciary and legislature by the government. Very good, Shaida. Shaida is such a good girl. So let's focus here. So contempt petition. So what happened? Supreme Court banned these SPOs. Post SC's 2011 order, Chhattisgarh passed the Chhattisgarh Auxiliary Armed Police Forces Act. Under this, what they did was they created an auxiliary force. Earlier there was SPO. Now there is an auxiliary force to aid regular security force. Auxiliary members not to be deployed in front line, must work under supervision. Minimum 6 months training and eligibility screening prescribed. All these things happen. Now, the petition has been filed against this. That in a way, it's just renaming, Allahabad becomes Prayagraj. So SPO became an auxiliary force. And that's why petitioner argued that this, this whole law created by Chhattisgarh violated the spirit of this 2011 order by Supreme Court, where they have banned these SPOs. It's now named as auxiliary force. Then Supreme Court has given some very rational verdict. They're talking about something very rational. They say that no, auxiliary force, as you can see, they will not be deployed in front line. They are not exactly akin to or same to SPOs earlier. And we cannot do away with this particular act. There's nothing unconstitutional about it. It's not only about contempt, this and that. It's also about balance of power. Legislature, executive, judiciary. Legislature will make laws, executive implement law, and judiciary will check constitutionality of laws. So rather than whether they are doing contempt or not, we have to see whether this particular act passed by Chhattisgarh Auxiliary Armed Forces, is unconstitutional against or ultra vires, going against the provision of constitution or not. And we are not seeing it going against the provision. They are not deploying them on against Naxal forces directly, as is stated here. So compliance with earlier order. SC rejected this, or Supreme Court rejected this contempt plea. Rejected, fine. The points they have given is very important, because in GS mains, why this article is so important? See, in GS mains paper 2, you have SOP, separation of power. In GS mains paper 3, you have internal security. From so many different regards, and again GS 2, Supreme Court judgment. Supreme Court observed that Chhattisgarh had complied with all directions from 2011 judgment, and these SPOs are not, auxiliary forces are not equal to SPOs. And Legislative Competence Court upheld that state legislatures have plenary powers to enact laws unless found constitutional. More than contempt, not contempt, it is about whether the law is constitutional or unconstitutional. It means according to the provision of constitution, we are not finding anything bad in it. Enacting a law cannot be considered contempt unless it violates constitutional provision. So here, Supreme Court is being pragmatic. It's not taking everything to its ego. Sometimes what happens, people or institution take things to its ego. Why they have made that? Here they are saying that no, it's fine. We said them, don't deploy these people, vulnerable people. They're not deploying them. They're just creating them to assist the regular services. As is stated here, as we have discussed earlier, these auxiliary members not to be deployed in front line, must work under supervision. So they are agreeing to what we have said in 2011 judgment, separation of power. And we cannot just keep on saying contempt and strike down the law. So doctrine clarified, legislature can remove the basis of a judgment or validate a law struck down, only legislative competence. This keeps on coming later on also. When you will read, we'll talk more about all these things. You will read there are 3 terms: judicial review, judicial activism, judicial overreach. Judicial review, when judiciary is checking the constitutionality of laws or executive orders, So judicial review, Shreya Singhal versus Union of India, they struck down some section 70s of IT Act, which was impinging on freedom of speech and expression. Section 66A of IT Act, if I'm not wrong, do check that out. So judicial review. Then you have judicial activism, which is thrusted upon judiciary due to non-functioning of executive and legislature. Judicial activism, many people feel, Keshwanand Bharti case, basic structure, PIL, public interest litigation, all these are example of judicial activism. Then you have something known as judicial overreach, when judiciary goes beyond their mandate and start doing something which should not be done by them, which is lies within the ambit of executive and legislature. Like there is a case, Shyam Narayan Choksi case and something, national anthem case, that when you are going into a movie hall, before watching a movie, you should stand up and do national anthem. So you have gone, let's say your favorite actress is, it can be anyone. Let's say your favorite actress is Sunny Leone. You have gone to watch Sunny Leone ma'am's movie. You're standing before and doing the national. There are other ways to show patriotism. When you're paying tax, you're also showing patriotism, sir and ma'am. So sometimes there was a national highway, state highway case within 200 meter, you cannot sell liquor. How is judiciary determining 200 meter or 100 meter? These are the ambit of legislature. They have to make the laws. Section 66A. Hope you're understanding. So again, here judiciary has played very safe. They have not gone into the ambit of judicial overreach. They are lying within judicial review or activism. So that is actually good. Very good. Clash between clash and blah blah blah. Oh my god, I'm stammering. Odisha is also under nationalism. I can understand. So Indian Aluminium Company was a state of Kerala emphasized, or Kerala SC emphasized maintaining the delicate balance among legislature, executive, and judiciary, because we have separation of power. GS means paper 2. Unlike US, which has strict separation of power, India has fused SOP. Executive is a part of legislature and all those stuff. We'll talk about it later on. So this is again an awesome article. And this whole thing is Supreme Court is saying in Nandini Sundar versus State of Chhattisgarh. Solve this particular question. With reference to Supreme Court judgment in Nandini Sundar and others versus State of Chhattisgarh, consider the following statement. Court held that recruitment of SPOs violated 14. You can see this. Very good, Shaida. Again, these are the tricky questions. If you are able to solve these questions, you will do good. So Shashmita, Anuj, they have given the answer. Court held that recruitment, first is correct. If first is correct, eliminate C option. Court allowed, it did not allow, it discontinued the use of Salva Judum under strict supervision. So second is wrong. If second is wrong, everything gone. And the answer is D, 1 and 3 only. Very good. Very good. Shashmita, Anuj, Amal, Malini, Lokesh, always happy. MCQ 6. Koya Commandos. Very good. Rishi, Shaida. Koya Commandos. Koya. Chepandis. So Shashmita, Amal, all of you have given the answer. C, state-sponsored counter-insurgency unit in Chhattisgarh. MCQ 7. It's very good, Shashmita, Amal, Rishi, Anuj, Shaida, Lokesh, Malini, always happy. Which of the following best describes the primary reason for Supreme Court declaring Salva Judum unconstitutional? Chepandi sir is what you are saying, Rishi, tell me. Chepandis, tell me. See, in Telugu, Chepu means, bolo, like informal, and Chepandi means boliye. So in like formally, so Chepandi, Chepu, Telsuledu, Kadu. So 7th, C is the answer as stated by you all. So again, people, if you feel like you're gaining something out of it, like, share, subscribe, kill it. Okay, let's move on. Fourth article of the day, Israel is using starvation to commit genocide. Here we have to read about something called as booby trap. Booby trap. They have written it explicitly. Booby trap. What is booby trap? So what? Again, it's a fascinating article because Amnesty International already UPSC has asked questions on it. Then there are certain keywords important from exam perspective, like UNRWA, what is that? What is GHF? Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. All these things. Earlier in the previous lectures, we have talked about Israel-Palestine conflict, not many days back, I think 2-3 days back. So you can go and revise that particular lecture. You know the story, what has happened in 1940s in the current Palestine state, which is currently Israel. Israeli state was created, Jewish state was created because of the persecution of Jewish people. And why Jewish people were persecuted all around the world except India? Because of two reasons which we have discussed in that Israel-Palestine conflict. What were those two reasons? First, they were the killers of Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ was a Jewish, they killed him. Second, they were usurers. According to NCERT, usurers means these people, they used to charge high interest on principal amount, usurers. Because of those two reasons, means persecution happened according to NCERT. Then Jewish state was created. Slowly and gradually this so-called Jewish state called Israel ate away or captured most of the region of Palestine. Now Palestine is confined to Gaza, West Bank, and they want East Jerusalem as well. Again, go back to that Israel-Palestine conflict, you will understand. Here we will not do that whole revision. That is not the part why we are here. For that, what was that? You people, please tell me the day when we have done this. Today is what, 4th July? I think maybe we have done it on 2nd or 1st July. Have a look at it. So now let's come to the article, what this article is talking about. We have to talk about some keywords here. Amnesty International, GHF, what are these things? And GHF has replaced somebody. What was that somebody earlier? You know what is happening right now. Hamas has attacked. Hamas, again, Palestinian group, anti-terror group supported by Iran. Not explicitly, but we know. And they attacked Israel. In turn, Israel retaliated. They are bombing Gaza. And now even the common people who were not involved with Hamas, they are suffering. And this is a guy, a Palestinian, who is mourning during a funeral procession in Gaza. So what is this news all about related to Amnesty International? So Amnesty International is saying that earlier, this whole humanitarian thing was done by UNRWA. That has been replaced by one US and Israel entity, which is known as GHF, Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. They are providing all these humanitarian relief. But this is a booby trap. What is the meaning of booby trap? When people like these Palestinians, they're going for humanitarian purposes, food, etc., many of them are getting killed around that area, humanitarian area. So Amnesty International is saying that this is all a booby trap. Israel is using starvation to commit genocide. People are going to these areas. As you can see, he is mourning during a funeral procession on Thursday for people killed while waiting for aid. It's not about those Hamas people attacking Israel in retaliation. Attack means Israel attacking them. It's about those vulnerable people who are waiting for aid and they are getting killed. Maybe because Israel suspects some of these have some affiliation to Hamas. We can only guess the reason right now. So this is a trap, booby trap they call it in this newspaper. Like they are calling you for food, but then they are killing you. So Amnesty International released a report on Thursday accusing Israel and US-backed aid distribution system in return of, in Gaza, of using starvation as a weapon against Palestinians. In return, Israel is saying that Amnesty International is in a way funded by Palestinian, Hamas, they are supporting them. Allegation of genocide. For us, UPSC perspective, we have to understand Amnesty International. Other Israel-Palestinian conflict, go to the previous Hindu analysis. Starvation, not done. 1948, Israel was born. Very good. And 30 Jews, serious humanity. Okay, so report claims this system contributes to genocide. This is actually a very fascinating thing. You're calling them for food and then you're killing them, if you see it. But is it ethical? So report claims this system contributes to genocide in Gaza. This was not happening earlier. See, in 1948 when Israel was created, Arab-Israel war happened. From then, that period onward, there was another organization, UNRWA, United Nations Relief and Work Agency, if I'm not wrong. And that was providing relief operations. Now, US and Israel, they have replaced it with Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. And that's what has led to this booby trap, so-called booby trap, according to Amnesty International. Amnesty condemned both Israel and Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is supported by US and Israel, not by UN. UN is not supporting this Gaza Humanitarian Foundation for replacing the UN-led aid distribution network. Very important. It's a new facet of war, which you are seeing here. Israel Foreign Minister rejected the report accusing Amnesty International of. What is Amnesty International? It's an NGO headquartered in UK. And UPSC has asked about Amnesty, so it is important. Aligning with Hamas and spreading its propaganda. So again, what is your view on this? Is Amnesty, again, these NGOs are also not doodh ka dhula, that means totally pure and everything is fine and hunky-dory with them. There have been allegations against Amnesty International also in the past. So we have to look at it in that regard. We cannot be looking at it in silos. Not at all ethical. So casualties at center, according to Gaza's health ministry, over 500 Palestinians have been killed in, no, this is bad, even Rajput people, when they used to fight, there has to be some ethics involved in war, right? You don't fight in the evening, you don't kill a guy who has come to you for relief purposes. So this looks bad in every way. Amnesty International aligning with Hamas or not, spreading propaganda or not, you cannot justify this thing one way or the other. 500 Palestinians killed in or near GHF ad, you can see a distribution center the past month. Dangerous distribution practices. Amnesty accuses Israel of turning aid seeking into a deadly trap through the use of militarized distribution hubs operated by GHF. So again, there are some keywords which are important, which we have to talk about. Report describes the situation as a combination of hunger and disease pushing Palestinian to a breaking point. So this is what is happening in. Again, I have so much to say about this issue, but I have to also save my job. So loss of life is due to deliberate Israeli targeting and dangerously irresponsible aid distribution method. Let's talk about the important things. GHF, Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Role, as you can see here, as we have discussed earlier, it was not there. Earlier, there was UNRWA. And not many people are happy with it. US and Israel, they are the two major entities which are happy with GHF. Other people, they wanted this UNRWA back, which was doing the relief work earlier, because during the 1948 Arab-Israel war, many Palestinians, they fled, they required support, and UNRWA was there for that. But now it is not there. GHF is there, and they are the ones who are doing this booby trap, so-called booby trap. Backed by Israel and US. Please remember, from exam perspective, GHF is not backed by UN. This is very important. It's immoral, right? Amnesty International criticized, you can see here, allegations of militarized hubs, ed hubs, civilian deaths near distribution center. Hope you understood GHF. Now let's talk about Amnesty International, which UPSC has already asked. This is an human rights organization, an NGO. Fine. Not headquartered in, like, many times there is a place called Vienna in Austria. It is the headquarter of so many organizations. So they can confuse you. They can tell you that it is in Vienna or Geneva. It's not. It's in London. Headquarters is in London, UK, and a guy from London, like England only, Peter Benenson, he created it. Now NGO, better, and now this is the motto. It is better to light a candle than curse the darkness. Good motto. Looks good. Sounds good. But the allegation is these NGOs, as we have discussed, sometimes let's say they are a UK-based NGO. So maybe UK interest sometimes supersedes their neutral point of view. So it's like you cannot believe each one of them at face value. You have to corroborate it with different sources. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's solve this question. With reference to recent report by Amnesty International, is no one taking action against such an ethical thing happening? No one is taking action against anything, Saida. It's like every country is on its own now. The world is like that. UN is anyway useless if you talk about it. It's not very dissimilar to League of Nations, which was there earlier. They are not able to do anything, not able to control US, not able to control anyone, not able to control Israel, God knows. So, 8th question, Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is supported by UN. It is not supported by UN, supported by US and Israel. That's what we were discussing earlier. There was UNRWA. They have replaced it now. So, first is gone. My love is gone. So, your answer is B, 2 only. Oh my God, you don't even need to check it. Why will Israeli Foreign Minister accept the claims? So, the answer is B. As stated by Amal, Lokesh, Ashmita, Rishi, Anu, Shaida, Tanmay, Abhay, SLC, Shaida. Again, Shaida is a good girl. So, MCQ 9, all of you are good boys and good girls. Which of the following are correct about Amnesty International? Oh my God. Amnesty International, government organization, headquartered in Geneva. Oh, you people have answered it. Yes, it's a government organization not headquartered in Geneva. It's in UK, right? Geneva is not in UK. So first is wrong. If first is wrong, you're left with A and D. You have to check the third one. Second, they have. Third, it works primarily under United Nations mandate. Does it? No, it's an NGO. It's an independent NGO. It has nothing to do with UN per se. So the answer is A, 2 only, as stated by Abhay, Amal. Yes, and it did get Nobel Peace Prize in 1977. So Amal, Rishi, Shashmita, Anuj, Shaida, SLC, Tanmay, Shagar, Madhu, everyone. Let's talk about this article. Very important article. IPS appointment in CAPFs continued despite Supreme Court order against the move. Now, why this article is very important? Because if you see your UPSC main syllabus, security, you see this? Various security forces and agencies and their mandate. Once we are done with this article, we are done with this whole topic, more or less. You just have to revise this Hindu, or you can copy paste the content which I will be sharing in my channel in your notes. Your almost 50-60% this topic is done. Various from mains perspective. We are talking from mains perspective, which will obviously help you in pre. So now what is this issue? Security forces. CAPF is a form of paramilitary force. Now the question is, what is a this is a very fascinating article. I personally feel from UPSC perspective, this is the most important article of the day, because via this one article, your whole, this particular topic, almost everything related to this topic is covered. So let's hear me out. So CAPF is one form of paramilitary force. Under, it's not a one entity. Under CAPF, there are 5 different entities. We'll talk about those 5 different entities. We'll talk about the CAPF versus IPS tussle as well. So what is a paramilitary force? A force which is, akin to armed forces, but they don't have all the powers of armed forces. It's just like when you talk about what are quasi-judicial authorities, they have powers similar to judicial authority, Supreme Court, High Court, etc. But they are not exactly judiciary. They are not Supreme Court, High Court. We are talking about NGT, etc. Similarly, paramilitary force, they have been trained in a certain way, like armed forces are being trained, but they are not armed forces. They are not part of Army, Navy or Air Force. Under CAPF, there are 5 different types of paramilitary forces. We have to talk about it. Before we talk about this particular issue, good morning, Dobson. Pay attention to this article. If you understood this article, this Hindu analysis is awesome. And if you feel like you're gaining something out of it, like it, share it, subscribe it. I have become a, oh my God, I used to see these videos earlier. Like, share, subscribe. Okay, focus. So now the point is, there is a tussle going on between CAPF people and IPS. You people, you are already well educated enough, for CAPF we have a separate exam. IPS, they are appointed through UPSC CSE. Now the top post of CAPF are designated or were designated earlier to IPS officer. Obviously, the people who have gone through CAPF exam, they will not like it. They will like their internal cadre to get the highest post, right? So this was the tussle. Supreme Court said that whatever CAPF people are saying, it makes sense. You should not have those many IPS appointments, and please stop it. But that is still going on, and that is this whole issue all about. This whole issue, you can see here, power play. Presently, 20% post in the rank of DIG, and these are the topmost, one of the topmost post in CAPF. 50% post in the rank of IG are reserved for IPS officer. Obviously, CAPF people will be angry that, dude, what mistake have we done that IPS people are getting the topmost post? And that's why the petition was filed. Now let's talk about this issue, main syllabus, various security forces, and then we'll talk about so many other terms related to this issue. Supreme Court rule, again you can see all these things. It directed that deputation of IPS officer to CAPF and senior administrative grade should be progressively reduced within 2 years. They are saying that reduce it. CAPF people, they are not liking it. It doesn't make any sense. Now the point is IPS Home Ministry, like IPS, CAPF, they both lie under Home Ministry. And they are not the only one. Even the border, mechanism, border protection and all those, that also comes under Home Ministry. That's an interesting thing. We'll talk about it. Despite the judgment, at least 8 IPS officers have been appointed to senior CAPF post and after the ruling. So what is your view on this? Do you support this whole thing that, IPS officers should not be occupying top CAPF post? Or you're like, sir, we will become IPS, sir. Why would we say that we don't like this? But if you think from neutral perspective, do you think CAPF officers have a point here that the higher post should be allocated to them rather than to the IS officer people? So yes, contempt allegation, petitioners have written to Home Ministry, again DOPT and all these things, alleging that these new appointments violate the court order. So again, Supreme Court order is being violated, CAPF officers are being undermined. That is this whole petition all about. 2021, Group A CAPF officers filed a petition. They're talking about, you can see here, amendment of recruitment rules to reduce IPS deputation. People are not liking it. And these kind of issues you will face. You will be transferred to some here, there, because IAS, IPS officer, they are transferred to so many different cadres and different wings and all these things. So be ready for these things. Current reservation for IPS and CAPF, 20% of DIG post, we have discussed this, reserved for IPS, 50% IG post. Expected impact, judgment is expected to reduce IPS dominance and allow for faster internal promotion, which CAPF people want. 13,000 CAPF officers are likely to benefit. Let's see when this Supreme Court order is implemented. Now, promotional delays, you can see all these things. Officer joining as assistant commandant takes 25 years to become a commandant instead of ideal 13 years. And that is happening because more and more IPS officers are entering into the CAPF domain. Those CAPF candidates are also working hard, so there should be quality, they should get a chance. Very good. So union home, the point is why this whole thing is happening, because CAPF, IPS both are being controlled by Home Ministry. Now, the point important from GS Mains paper 3, CAPF include BSF, CISF, CRPF, Sasastra Seema Bal, SSB, ITBP. What are these entities? These are, and what areas they are catering to. So again, we'll talk about them one by one, and this is important. So BSF Border Security Force, we'll talk about it, which particular border. This is CISF Central Industrial Security Force, industrial location, let's say NTPC, NHPC, their location, to secure them we have CRPF. Then Central Reserve Police Force, Sasastra Seema Bal, Indo-Tibetan Border Police. They all have their different mandates. Let's go one by one. One of the most, this is I think the most important article of the day. So Central CAPF, they are a group of paramilitary forces. Now we have just discussed what is the basic meaning of paramilitary force, how they are different from armed forces. Paramilitary force, they are generally under Ministry of Home Affairs. Mostly military forces, they are under Ministry of Defense. Then there are other works. The power is not same, the ranking is not same, the salaries are not same, and that's why sometimes CAPF people, ITBP people, they're also doing similar kind of work as army is doing, and that's why paramilitary versus military issue happens. We'll see a comparative analysis of paramilitary forces versus military forces also. Be with me. So they are under MHA. They are responsible for internal security, border management, support during law and order. They have different works. Like I will show you, apart from these paramilitary forces, there are another forces, like there is NSG, National Security Guard, which looks into this terror operation. There's another paramilitary force which is not under CAPF, which looks into the security of Prime Minister and all those people. So paramilitary force is not only confined to CAPF. CAPF is one of the paramilitary force which incorporates 5 more entities. That's what we are discussing. No, sir, I don't support, because occupying a job without the ambit of promotion is stagnating, especially IPS officer. Okay. BSF, CSF, very good. Now let's talk about some important issue. This is the thing which you have to keep in mind. BSF, Border Security Force. Border Security Force under Home Ministry, not Defense Ministry, keep it in mind. Guards India's border with Pakistan and Bangladesh. They have their own ambit. Tibetan Border Police, they guard Indo-China border. Tibet, China, right? CRPF, Central Reserve Police Force, they are talking about Naxal operation and all those things. CISF we have discussed. Central Industrial Security Force, protect industrial units, airport PSUs. Sasastra Seema Bal, SSB. It is not Service Selection Board. Don't get confused here. And this guards the Nepal and Bhutan borders. So keep a tab of it, because as like Mamta is here with us, right? So we'll have a master following question soon. So this is important for you. Key differences between army and paramilitary CAPF. Remember, paramilitary CAPF are sometimes used concurrently, but they are not the same, because CAPF is one form of paramilitary, then NSG is also one form of paramilitary, So National Security Guard and all those. So Indian Army, Armed Forces, Ministry of Defense. These paramilitary forces mostly Ministry of Home Affairs. Here there is a caveat. There is one more paramilitary force which is known as Assam Rifles. Assam Rifles. Assam Rifle is a paramilitary force, but you will see administrative machinery handled by Ministry of Home Affairs. Defense operations of Assam Rifle means handled by Ministry of Defense. So they are an exception, Assam Rifles, which is a paramilitary force, but all in all, mostly paramilitary under MHA, Ministry of Home Affairs. Keep it in mind. So external threat, war, internal security, you can see here military style. You can read these things. You understood this whole. Indian Army, NDA, CDS, OTA, all these things happen. And then UPSC, CAPF, SSC, other channels, paramilitaries are recruited. So this map, this chart will help you in understanding things. NSG is super powerful, sir. Yes, Shashmita, it is. Now let's solve some question. MCQ 10 of the day. Which of the following forces is not part of CAPF? this is the most important article of the day, directly linked to UPSC syllabus, Make proper notes of it. So Ash, Shashmita, Shriparna, SLC, Rishi, Amal, Abhay, Madhu, Sagar. Oh my god. My name is also Sagar. Shubham Sagar. So 10B. National Security Guard is not part of CAPF. MCQ 11. Mamta's favorite. Match the following. Mamta, are you there with us? MCQ 11. BSF, SSB, ITBP, CISF. I think Mamta is not with us right now. But whenever she hears us, she will understand where we are going with this. She does not like match the following questions. But here SSB is Sashastra Seema Bal. Here it is not Service Selection Board. So MCQ 11. Chepandi's answer. Anush, Tanmay, Shriparna. Oh my god. Look at these answers. So again, let's say you are confused. There are so many things you are confused. And C is 3 Indo-Tibetan border police, Tibet, China. So border with China. So C is 3. If C is 3, oh my god, look at this question. Even if you C is 3, you will be able to solve. C is 3, you are able to solve this question. Even if CISF is Central Industrial Security Force, so obviously they have to look into security of industrial installation. Even if you D2, you are able to solve this question. So the answer is A. Very good. PYQ 12, this is a UPSC PYQ asked by UPSC in 2008. So as we have discussed, don't get confused by border, etc. Department of Border Management, Border Security Force, all of them are under Ministry of Home Affairs. This is a catch. Assam Rifle is a tricky one under both of them, and that is also one paramilitary force, not under CAPF. So B is the answer, Ministry of Home Affairs. Very good, all of you. Shashmita, Amal, SLC, Rishi, Anush, Sriparna, Shaida, Sagar. PYQ 13, UPSC 2017. This is just out of the blue question. A basic static conceptual question which you should get correct. If you are getting these questions wrong, this is a sin. As we keep on saying in Hindi, Nadi kinare paap hai. ऐसे questions गलत करना नदी किनारे सांप है, ऐसे questions गलत करना पाप है. That means alongside a river bank there is a snake. If you're making mistake in these kind of questions, it's a sin. Oh my god. Assam Rifle not entirely Shaida. Like their administrative affairs is under home, and then there are some other works which are under defense. So it's a tricky opposite. When you will go deeper into Assam Rifle, you will understand what I'm saying. More or less under means home affairs, but then there are some works which are taken care of by Ministry of Defense. So local self-government can be explained as an exercise in, as so many people are saying, democratic decentralization. They are promoting bottom-up model of governance. We are talking about panchayats and municipalities, decentralization. Like we were talking about FRAs, etc. So that's it from me, I think, sir and ma'am. And today I loved presenting Hindu for you. If you liked it, share. Seriously, you are not understanding this. You feel like this is a joke. Everything I say is a joke. It's not a joke. If you like, share, subscribe, comment, it spreads the reach of the video. And the sooner it reaches to means more number of people, the easier we feel. We don't feel too much burden about it, because there are so many things to do and so less of us, because I am awesome and I'm required in so many other areas, but I want to do this Hindu analysis. For that, it has to reach a wider audience. and that is actually very much needed. So spread it as far as possible. As I've stated earlier at the starting, I will share this particular PDF in this Telegram channel of mine, Fun Study with Show, because study should be fun. And what else, sir and ma'am? Yes, there is one important thing which I want to tell you people. This is important. A score, I don't know, I know you people will not share it, but still I will tell it. This is my job, you know, like a parent. Yes, sir, this is important. One thing I want to show you, we have discussed about this. If you're preparing for 26, you can join our batch. Batch is starting on 7 July 2025. Now, hear me out. There's one interesting thing which I want to share with you people. And this came to my mind today morning only. Let me tell you something. We'll do a compare and contrast. You know how to join the courses up until now. If you have seen my other videos, you will go to all languages, you'll go to English. Right now, we're talking about 2026. If you want to take for 27, 28, the process is same. You just click on 27, 28, you know how to click. And one more thing, we are talking about 26 right now. There is something interesting I want to tell you. So this is 26. You want to know the features, you can go here. We can talk about it later. First of all, let me tell you the interesting thing. See, this thing we are discussing, if you go back to my June videos, Hindu analysis, there we have not seen this 16999 course. If again you go back, you can see it, what I'm saying. We have seen this course. We have mainly seen one course or two course. This is a drastic reduction which you are seeing, 16999, and if you apply my promo code SHS Live, you will get it at 9999. This, I'm saying it as a humble request. You can buy this course as soon as possible. 9999 is nothing. You know, you do 4 parties, the money is gone. But I don't know, because next month, previous month, if you can go watch all my videos, etc., this was not there. I don't know for how many days this gold thing will be there. You are getting this course. There are differences here. You may feel like, sir, the price is reducing so much, and if you apply my code, let me just show you SHS Live. So it reduces to, where has it gone? Let me click on this. It reduces to 9999. There can be a doubt in your mind that, sir, this is too much difference, sir. Will we get anything in gold or not? I'm telling you, doesn't matter at which level preparation you are, just buy this particular course, keep it with you, you know, because the course validity is 1 year, 6 months. I'm assuming you don't need these many months. You'll be clearing UPSC in 1 year, 6 months. What will happen is, this will act as a reference. If you are having any issues, you can go to this particular goal. 9999 in the long run will not matter. Why I'm saying, because 9999 is small amount. 31, 36, even after reduction, we will do. It is still a big amount, 24,999 or 29,999. You can understand what I'm saying here. But this is small and you can use it as a reference. Obviously, if it is small, there will be certain things which will not be there for you. You can see here live classes, lecture notes will be there. You can watch it recorded any number of times. But one-to-one mentorship is not there. Let's say you don't need mentorship. You're having mentorship from me. You're asking your doubts. You don't need mentorship. MRP, I think you should have. Ideally, right now MRP is going on for people who have cleared pre, and it's actually a good environment to live in. You're living with the same set of people who have cleared pre. But MRP is not there. These things are not there. Scholarship things are not there. But I think even then this is a catch, this 9999 thing. So these things you can see, all these features will be there, but the price reduction is humongous. So you can tell it to any other people and you can buy it yourself, keep it for 1 year, 6 months as a reference frame. Having any issues, look into it. That is my personal opinion, because I don't know up until which particular period you will have this gold thing, you know. So that is one thing which I want to tell you. Rest, everything we have discussed already, that this is 2026 batch. These are the features you will get. I don't think you will get scholarship and reward thing in that 9999 course, which we talk about, that if you clear 2026 pre or 27 or 28, we will initiate full refund for you. But anyway, that is at 9999. And you can see test series, everything is included here, MRP, PRP. So you can join it, you know the process. You will go to buy now, as we have just discussed. You will apply, add promo code, use my promo code. You will get maximum discount. All these things are there, MRP, etc. In diamond and platinum. Gold is anyway very reduced. So there are certain things which are not there. If you have any queries, call on this number and you can give my reference 9240231070. They will tell you what to do. But again, my personal opinion, go for this gold and do it before 7th. The sooner you do it, because I don't know whether it will be tomorrow or day after tomorrow or not. As we have seen, it was not there earlier. So again, totally up to you, your call. So tomorrow what time? Same time SLC, same time every day at 10 a.m. Today's class was awesome, sir, because I understood all the concept easily. That is the purpose, Shaida. I was deviating from my path earlier. I was fixating more on the time part. Should be less than 1 hour. That is not the point. The point is, if I'm teaching you 5 topics, 6 topics, those things will be eased in your mind. That way, you know, it will be better. So time is a secondary phenomena. Conceptual clarity is the first priority. Too much got, sir. Thank you, Rishi. Thank you, everyone. So I will see you people tomorrow then. Take care, be blessed. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Spread the word, spread it soon, spread it fast.